What's up, y'all? It's your girl Cornelia back with another episode of Black News, a podcast where we break down current events, hot topics, and local stories involving Black people. Now let's get into it.
So I just got dress coded during an interview. And then they decided to reschedule the interview with me for tomorrow. But before they rescheduled, the lady was like, "Would you like to come back? Like go change and then come back?" And I was like, "No, these are the shorts." Let me turn to the side for y'all. These are the shorts. So I just got dress coded during an interview. And then they decided to reschedule the interview with me for tomorrow. But before they rescheduled, the lady was like, "Would you like to come back? Like go change and then come back?" And I was like, "No, these are the shorts." Let me turn to the side for y'all. These are the shorts.
So I played that for y'all twice, just in case you couldn't hear the first time. So what you just heard was a viral video that blew up all over TikTok, then moved over to Facebook, then moved over to Twitter, then moved over to Instagram. Everybody has something to say because for whatever reason it was just relatable content where people felt like they need to jump in. So what you heard was a young woman who went on a job interview, and on the job interview the recruiter saw what she was wearing and asked her if she wanted to go home and change. And come to find out, the girl elaborated a little further. She was offered the opportunity to reschedule, but she turned it down because she said that the location was too far and she just had to weigh her options and decided not to come back for like a redo of the interview. But what the young Black woman had on, and I don't know, want to guess her age. I didn't watch enough videos to see if she said her age at any point, but I'm willing to bet she was younger than 25 years old. She had on a white cardigan sweater, a white shirt underneath, looked like it was, I wouldn't say a t-shirt, but you go to Target and get one of them like cotton shirts, the plain cotton t-shirt, short sleeves, like one of those. And she had on a black pair of shorts. The shorts, she said they came from Target in another video. They also were not knee length. They weren't a little higher above the knee. I would say if we talking about inches, they was about 5-inch shorts. The shorts was short. They wasn't booty shorts, but they were short. The young woman's build, she got some shape on her. She got some body on her. So, it not to say it would have been different if it was a skinny girl wearing the shorts, but when you got body, you got body. We all know what it means for a Black person to have body, especially in the workforce. She posted that, and I think that she thought she was gonna get a good reaction, but it backfired because child, they was tearing her up in the comments, reposting the video on all social media platforms, pretty much talking about what she decided to wear. So a couple of things. I don't like to be like one of them back in my day type of people, and I don't like to police what people are wearing, but I do, or what they do, but I do feel like as older people, it is our job to mentor and to provide guidance based on what we know and what we've experienced and where we are in our current lives. I also know that sometimes people of other generations or younger than you, they don't think that you know what you're talking about. They also think that certain things don't apply anymore. Stuff is old school. But as someone who works and who hires and who unfortunately has fired, not fired because of clothes, but as someone who is on and has been on the side of making decisions about people, about hiring, and as someone who has interviewed, I don't want to see you in shorts. Now, I will say this. I put an asterisk by that because it could depend on the industry. There's a way for you to pull off some shorts at an interview. There's a way to pull it off, but it's very industry specific and it is very outfit specific. If you work in a creative industry, let's say you work in TV, entertainment, music, and you are interviewing for a job, there are some really cute short suits, like with like not linen material, but like a step above linen material, or even like a nice tailored suit set that you can wear with some nice jewelry, a nice shoe. The short got to be long, it got to be damn near Bermuda. It can't be short. That's the only time I feel like you can pull that off. But if you are interviewing in banking or or tech or healthcare, any industry that is not entertainment specific, where some of the people working there are funky on funkier, and they creatives, like real creatives, you're not gonna get away with wearing shorts. You just not gonna get away with it. Also, we got to get used to dressing for our body types. And we got to get used to not buying the size clothes that we think we should wear, but buying the size clothes that we actually wear. I ain't going to get too deep in it, but that could solve a lot of problems for people. But let me say this too. When I first, and this is an example, I have an example of somebody wearing shorts to work, not even an interview, get the job first, y'all, and then push the boundary. Push the boundary once you get the gig. When I first moved to New York City, I worked at an investment bank in campus recruiting, US campus recruiting. I worked at Barclays Capital. Y'all know I've always had me a day job. I always kept a job. And in New York, I was doing improv at night, sneaking and taking acting classes because people weren't supportive of my creative endeavor. So I had to sneak around and be the real me. But in the daytime, I was working at an investment bank. This was 2005 to 2010. This was back when women were still wearing stockings. It was avant-garde if you did not have on stockings. The real risque, the women executives, the one or two, if they wore strappy heeled sandals, they were pushing it. Women still wearing pearls. You had to have a suit on every day. Casual Friday, you still wore slacks and a short sleeve blouse, but flat shoes. Don't dare show up in no sneakers. You know, we wearing sneakers with our suits, our dresses. No, back then, no. In investment banking, hell no. You had to be suited, dressed. We had a temp, and the temp that we hired, in her outside of her day job, she was very creative in the fashion, dance, arts. Right now, she is actually very successful and has a successful entertainment career. But at the time, she was temping to make some extra money. One day, she showed up in shorts. But the shorts were like, it was like a matching outfit where there was like a blouse, um with a cardigan on top of it. The shorts were knee length, so they were kind of like Bermuda length. She had on like some cute little loafers. Like, the outfit was really cute. It was like really cute. But nobody ever wore anything like that in investment banking. And we black. At the time back then, child, it was two black, maybe three black people on the team. When I tell you them people flipped the hell out, they ain't flip out on her directly, but them whispering, them meetings coming to the office, who gonna talk to her? Why she got that on? What is this? How dare people? This is not the dress code. We are Barclays. I'm talking about, you would have thought somebody came up in there with booty shorts on. Somebody ended up, just giving her a little coaching on what to wear in a corporate setting, especially in investment banking. She felt a way about it because, again, that was her personal style. It was a cute outfit. And for her, she was basically kind of like, why can't I wear what I want to wear? I still look nice. And that is a valid point. The difference in the nuance was there was a corporate dress code, an industry standard that people were expected to abide by. We all know rule breakers and boundary pushers, and somebody got to step out and do it. But when you step out and you decide to be the rule breaker or the boundary pusher, there might be consequences. And in that case, she got talked to. In the case of the girl on TikTok, she got sent home and was invited to come back, but didn't return. I say all that to say it is okay when you having a job interview, when you on the phone interview with somebody, with the recruiter, and they say, great, I'm going to invite you to the second round. Or they email you and say, congratulations, we're inviting you to the second or third round interview. You can reply back to the recruiter and say, thank you so much. I'm available during this time. Really excited for the opportunity. Is there anything I should prepare for? Also, if you wouldn't mind, could you let me know what the dress code is for your office? Something like that. Ask them. Otherwise, you gonna go in there not knowing, not feeling comfortable, when they send your ass back to the crib. With that in mind, what are y'all thoughts? Have y'all ever showed up to an interview in shorts? Do y'all wear shorts at work? Personally, even if, again, it may be a generational thing, but I just wouldn't wear shorts at work. And also, it always be cold at work. And I'm not going to be freezing my ass off for the sake of fashion. It ain't that serious. I'm going to put them jeans on and a blazer. Okay. But again, I've worked in different industries and I've seen different things. So maybe I've been trained into this way. It's a new generation coming up and maybe they have new ideas, but it doesn't hurt to ask somebody. Again, what are your thoughts about it? Hit me up. You can find me at Cornelia on social media. You know, I really like Kirk Franklin. I really, and I like Kirk Franklin's music. But I'm starting to like Kirk Franklin, the podcast guest, even more. And I did not grow up listening to gospel music as much as I grew up listening to hip hop and R&B. I knew the mainstream gospel songs. I went to church. If they were singing it at church, I knew it. If they was playing the contemporary gospel songs on the radio, I knew all of those. I knew Kirk Franklin's mainstream songs, which were all his damn songs, because Kirk Franklin, low key, is the reason why millennials, I would even take it back. Kirk Franklin single handedly changed gospel music and brought in a whole new generation of artists and artistry. There may be somebody else alongside with him who played a part in that, but Kirk Franklin is instrumental in gospel music being consumed in a way that is synonymous with some hip hop and some R&B. Yes, we always had gospel songs that were played at parties and things. Okay? But Stomp and them, what Kirk Franklin is special and what he did was special. But at his in his older age, Kirk Franklin is, and over even before he was older, he has always been open about his struggles. Remember back in the day, he seemed to have a struggle with pornography. Him and his wife Tammy were talking, used to talk about it. And now he even invited us into his life to discuss the situations that were happening with his biological mother, his birth father. If you have not watched his documentary Father's Day on YouTube, I highly recommend it, especially if you are, and I won't this isn't specific to black families, but if you talk to and know a lot of black families, you know there's a lot of secrets that riddle the black family experience as it relates to parentage and history and just legacy and all of those things. Long story short, the man Kirk Franklin thought was his biological father wasn't. He ended up finding his biological father, took a DNA test, come back, the man is his father. He could have had his daddy in his life the whole time. He confronted his mother about it. And till this day, she still claims that that man is not his father, even though he took 2 DNA tests. Craziness. But recently, Kirk Franklin went on Funky Fridays, which is Cam Newton's podcast. They had a really good conversation. I actually really liked Cam. I really like Cam Newton and some of his commentary. Um, but this one, I really enjoyed it. But Kirk Franklin, specifically in this clip I'm about to play, y'all talked about Christianity and how it relates to marriage in the Black community. So I want to play that, and then we're gonna discuss it a little bit.
I believe that marriage has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Giving has been weaponized in Western Christianity. Sexuality has been weaponized. For example, any woman listening to this can attest in our culture. Don't be no 30, 35-year-old single Black woman and go to the family reunion. All the older women are going to do them. They're going to look at you and wonder, why you not married? Where your man at? Where your kids at? Like, it's a prerequisite for identity and value that if you don't have a man, if you don't have kids, that something about you is broken. Do you understand how dysfunctional these messages are? Yeah. And how we super spiritualize these messages? Paul said, but marriage is a necessary distraction. I have many friends that were in ministry at church, and the church has told them, if you're gonna be in ministry, you can't be single. We're not gonna let you work with the youth ministry if you're single. You can't do this if you're single. And so what people do, they quickly get married, thinking that they're fulfilling God's will for their lives, but they are fulfilling man's dogma. You can be single and be used by God. You can be single and have purpose. Being married is not a prerequisite for God's hand on your life. It is not, but we've weaponized it. And then crucify people. Where my camera at? Right there. And then crucify people when those same marriages fail.
A mouthful. Essentially, people find a way to crucify and demonize and shame people in the name of Christianity. Men and women, more so women than men, because that whole you got to be married thing, the church ain't really laying in the men the way they be laying in the women. Let's just keep it above. But specifically about what he said about women. He said you go to the family reunion, you over a certain age, people gonna be on you talking about when you get married, where y'all kids at, and all of this. I have been blessed with, and maybe it's due to some, things that I've experienced as a child. I have grown to have a detached nature, and that is an effect of trauma, right? And it's fortunate and very unfortunate in some situations because I can detach quick. And when I detach, I'm done. You're done. But with that, it has allowed me the ability to not care about people's opinions of me. Especially as, and this, some people who are like dreamers and creatives and have chased things down. You have to be that way because essentially the way you get to achieve your goals and your dreams, you got to believe it. If don't nobody else believe it, it doesn't, if they believe it or not, doesn't matter. You have to believe it with everything in your being. And a part of that is that helps you to succeed is the ability to not care and to be able to block out the noise. So I've been blessed with the ability, and I have a posture of, you ain't gonna ask me if I'm doing something because I'm gonna tell you I ain't gonna do it, and that's gonna be that. So I don't, as at this age, not being married and not having children, I'm not asked those things anymore. I'm not asked. People don't insinuate. I ain't been asked where your man at in years. I ain't been asked when you having kids in years. And I ain't talking about 3 years, maybe over 10. The last time I have been asked, I literally been asking people in return, please tell me the benefits. What are the pros and the cons and how would it benefit me? When you start asking people to give you the tangibles, they start to fall back a little bit. But I am blessed in that because maybe it's just a personal posture that I have where people know at this point, if she gonna do what she gonna do, she gonna do what she gonna do. And I'm the type of person, I'm gonna do what I want to do. So if I want marriage and kids, I'm gonna have marriage and kids. That is not the same for a lot of other women and a lot of other families and a lot of women who are really in the church. Women have been shamed, ridiculed, pressured into marriage to the point where they feel like they have to do these things in order to have a certain life or to be viewed a certain way. And you're going about it in the wrong way. And then when it doesn't work out, you are shamed and ridiculed for it not working out when you were pressured by that same group of people in the first place. It's just a very vicious cycle that I want us to break free from moving forward. But that whole video clip could be a 30-minute conversation within its own. Kirk Franklin talked about church leaders. If you're not married, you can't be a part of the youth ministry. Just complete ridiculousness. And as us Black news listeners, I want us to stay or get into the mindset of everybody's individual journey is their individual journey. Everybody is going to live the life that they are supposed to live. Can we make decisions that can change that? Absolutely. But when we look at other people and what's going on in their life, just let people do what they gonna do. Stop shaming people in the name of Christianity or in the name of legacy or whatever people like to throw out there nowadays. Stop doing that. Mind your business. And also, I would challenge these church leaders to start preparing their membership a little better for the different nuances of life. Prepare people for singleness. And shout out to my church, One Church. PT, Pastor Torrey, Pastor Sarah, even Devon Franklin, they're very big on not preaching that if you ain't married, you ain't this, you ain't nothing. Like, they not doing that. So I feel very thankful that the church that I go to, they ain't on that. But we can't say the same for some others. So let me know your thoughts about it. Because child, I can go on and on. You know where to find me with your thoughts. I'm at Cornelia on social media. I'm not a jealous person. I don't get jealous of people or envious. Maybe when I was younger, and I wouldn't even call it, and younger, I'm talking about like 18, 19, high school, things like that age bracket. And especially now as I'm older and an older woman, seasoned, we all know, and I know it better than anybody. What you see in front of you is not always the case. People can look like they got everything and got it all together, and child, they are going through it. I am a testimony of that. There was a point, maybe not even a few years ago in the recent past, where it looked like I was doing okay and I was in pain. I'm talking about completely suffering, not doing well at all. At all. So I really know what it means to say, don't judge a book by its cover. Don't wish for something. Don't be envious. Ain't no couple goal. All this people be doing. No, your life is your life, and other people's lives is their lives, and you have no clue. With that said, I am becoming really jealous of these dorm room reveal videos all over social media, specifically TikTok. Because where was all of this dorm room decor, reveal, inspo, design? Where was all of this elaborate and beautiful dorm decor back in the 99 and the 2000 when we was in school? Okay, where was this? When my parents dropped me off at Hampton University and left, my dorm room, it looked like I was living in a woman's shelter. I had a bed in the bag. That's what I had. I had towels. I had the necessities. Okay. I had what I needed. I had a bed in a bag, towels, my toiletries. I had got stocked up from things at Walmart. I was prepared in that way. But, child, it looked like they moved me in and left me in my decor. I was at a shelter for women. These new dorm rooms be full experiences. Child, they be having carpet, throw rugs, wallpaper. You imagine if we put wallpaper on the walls of Hampton University in 2000? Child, they would have flipped out by five. We would have been out by five. They got pictures, frames, curtains, furniture, chairs, chaise lounges, like stool. We didn't have none of that. I used to be in a lot of people dorm rooms. You know, child in Kelsey Hall, we was all up in them dorm rooms. Hey, yo, girl, what you doing? Knock, 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 knock. You busy? We coming in there to listen to music, watch TV, shoot the shit, key, talk about homework, practice for the freshman step show. We doing all of that in these dorm rooms, and ain't none of them dorm rooms looked as elaborate as this. Child, I was even on the same floor with the celebrity kids, with two celeb kids. They dorm rooms was regular. So when I'm on TikTok and I see these people dropping their kids off and they do the dorm review, they walk in the room and they take a video of the plain room with the plain old mattress and the chair stacked up and it's just empty, walls up like painted white or yellow or some ugly dorm color. And they close the door and come back in and the wall, it looked like they went on, it looked like the HGTV up in that thing. Where was all this? Now, with the parents that I had, even if it was, I'm gonna say that with the parents I had, even if it was a thing, the parents that I had wouldn't have been able to pull that off. I don't think they still would have had what it takes. I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Okay. My parents would have been like, home, decor your ass down in Hampton. I barely got to Hampton. I applied to two schools. I applied to Michigan State because they had on-site admissions at school. They was coming to high schools in Flint and they was doing on the spot admissions. So I got in on the spot, Michigan State University, and I applied to Hampton University. How did I only apply those two schools? Back in the day in Flint, there was a Black college tour that was sponsored by two Black teachers, Mr. and Mrs. Coleman, every year, where the week of winter break, you would pay money, we would take a bus down to the South, and we would visit HBCUs, museums, plantations. We would do all of the Black stuff. One year, we did the Tennessee schools. We did Tennessee, Florida, and Alabama. Another year we did Virginia. I'm blending the years, but combined, we did a big chunk of the South. We went to Tennessee State, Fisk. We saw Meharry. We went to Edward Waters. We went to Alabama A&M, Alabama State. We did Bethune-Cookman, Hampton, Norfolk State. We did all of them. Great experience. Saw plantations, Black museums. We went to Montgomery, Alabama. We did the MLK tour. We saw the church where the four little girls were bombed. And wouldn't trade it for the world. Fantastic, especially for some young Black kids in the Midwest who don't have that much exposure to HBCU and Southern Black history. Fantastic. Always say if I get a substantial amount of money, I personally would love to sponsor Black college tours for students to go and have a similar experience. Now they had us eating at Shoney's every day, but that's a whole nother story. Okay. The food and lodging, that's a whole nother story. We had a good time. We was acting up too. It was a good time. Somebody stole my DMX CD on the bus riding down there. I ain't gonna forget. They stole my DMX CD. Anyway. First year we went Alabama and A&M. I think it was maybe the first year, one of those years. I was like, this is the school. It's jumping to Alabama and A&M. I like it. We went to Hampton. As soon as we got on campus, we got off the bus. I felt the cool breeze of the waterfront blow through my flat iron. Silk press before was silk pressing. Walked around the campus was beautiful. The students was nice and bougie. It was my place. I knew immediately that that was my school. I called my dad from you can call your parents to get a little block out time to call your parents. I called my dad to collect from the payphone. I said, Daddy, I want to go to Hampton. He was like, Hampton? That's, yeah. I was like, this it. I want to go here. I want to go to Hampton University. He was like, you want to go to how much it costs? I was like, well, because Hampton, it was expensive. It's private. It's very, very, very expensive. I was like, well, I'll bring home the pamphlet. Grab the pamphlet, and that was it. I came back to Flint. That was my junior year. That was it. I had to go to Hampton. If I didn't go to Hampton, I wasn't going to college. That's what I told my dad. I said, I'm not going. Long story short, in the 25th hour, they decided to let me go to Hampton. People were already deciding. I had like a week left to decide if I was going to go. I got accepted down to the wire. Finally agreed. With that said, my parents ain't never took nobody to an HBCU. My sister went to college, but it was up the street, kind of like 45 minutes to an hour away. So HBCU culture was something totally new. My family didn't know anything about this. Also, we some Midwest kids. My daddy worked in the shop. My mom worked in a healthcare company. So this was something that we were about to embark on, that I was embarking on, that I had no clue about. So what I showed up with, I had all of my clothes, I had my necessities, I had what I thought I needed. They gave you a little list about what you should bring. Great, I had that. But if we would have had to go down there ahead of time and spent an exorbitant amount of money on decor, child, I would have been asked out. I had me a little summer job and saved me up some money, but I wouldn't have had no money for no throw rug, wallpaper, framed pictures, bedding, curtains. These kids got curtains, furniture. We ain't had Amazon back then either. Whatever you bought, you had to get it from the furniture store, Art Van. So it's a little bit of jealousy in me, and I ain't never felt this way ever in my life or since I was a young teen. But I be feeling some kind of way during these dorm reveals, because y'all had, I was at Hampton in that dorm looking like I lived in poverty. Child, we moved across the street to the Hampton Harbors right after that, had me a little apartment. Child, it took us forever to furnish it. And if it wasn't for my roommate Stephanie, we wouldn't have no furniture. Her parents came through with the living room furniture. Before that, it was house party galore because we ain't had nothing to ruin. But we had a fantastic time. Even with that experience, even with my homeless looking dorm room, I wouldn't trade it for the world. 10 out of 10, 5 stars, highly recommend. What do y'all think? Did y'all parents decorate y'all's dorm rooms? Was that in style when y'all were in school? Was they doing at the PWIs? I don't know. Was they doing at the other HBCUs? Let me know. Hit me up and let me know your thoughts. You can find me at social media. You can find me on social media at Cornelia. On this week's episode of Black News, we talked about job interviews in shorts. We also talked about Kirk Franklin and his most recent commentary around Christianity and marriage in the Black community, especially as it relates to women. And we talked about the viral videos as of recent in regards to dorm room decor. Hit me up. Let me know your thoughts about all of these topics, some or none, and I'll check back with you guys next time. That's it for this week's episode of Black News, y'all. Thanks again for supporting the podcast by sharing, liking, subscribing, and rating 5 stars on your favorite podcast app. To find more information about me, you can check me out at Cornelia on social media, as well as on my website, which is cornelia.com. And as always, thanks for supporting, and I'll be back next week with new topics and a new episode.